Hi guys, we'll be talking about performance of the Botany that was launched just last weekend. Uh, from what you can see from this article, it seems that all the one bedrooms were sold out. Two bedrooms were almost sold out, except for the penthouse, if I remember correctly. Of course, there were, as usual, a few bounced out units, but generally still quite well received. If you're talking about well received being 70%, 80%, 90%, so then unfortunately in this climate, I think that is not quite possible given the economy outlook. But then again, like what I mentioned before in last video, just because a development is not 70, 80, 90% sold on the launch weekend, doesn't mean that it's a failure. Because when we look at the 2019 batches that were launched, example Florence, Treasure Tampines, all these guys when they were launched back in 2019, they were definitely way lesser than the 50% mark. And some people branded as a failure. Florence was particularly bad. But if you look at it, it's one of the biggest success stories. So it doesn't mean that launch day performance will lead to future performance. Please don't be mistaken. And hence, like what I mentioned, I don't see or launch days. That's why you don't see me betting. Oh, how many percent will it be sold? How many percent will it be sold? Because I know no matter how I get it, even if I bet on it, I guessed it correctly. So what? It doesn't mean that it's gonna be something profitable. And so what if I guess it correctly? Am I gonna strike total tomorrow? Am I gonna get bonus for that? No. So what? No point trying to waste energy, trying to waste your credibility thinking about all these kind of things, which don't matter. So to me, it's a waste of time to think about that lah. So I don't really care about all this launch. And if you ask me, I feel the pricing were pretty much within expectation. They stuck to their indicative quite closely. But when it comes to per floor jump, some of them were quite ridiculous. So higher floor, some of them were not as much of a deal, not as much of a good deal. But depends on the facing and everything, right? There were some that were pretty good, decent value. So for those of them who managed to spot the right combination, facing, floor, and then pricing here and there, everything all is within the acceptable range, then congratulations to you. I think you have gotten a pretty good deal. And also, for those of you who have managed to help us break the ceiling in the area, I would say thank you on behalf of all my clients in Dairy Farm. So please continue to help us to break the price ceiling. We'll be more than happy. And then the other thing is that it seems that quite a lot of people also pulled out because of they are anticipating that Blossom by the Park, all these developers they are going to be having some gloomy outlook because it's going to be 30% plus, 40% plus. So then hence they are likely to be less ambitious. But one thing please do remember is that these guys just barely launched. Some of them only just got the land not yesterday, last year. So are they in a rush to sell? How long do they have to sell? They have 5 years from the day that they bid the land to sell, and hence they have a lot of time left. And if you think back, the Florence, right? Now the Florence is fully sold. If I remember correctly, Treasure is fully sold. But that time they were worrying, yes. But did they give big discounts? No. In fact, they were pushing out the prices along the way. And hence you can see that they still managed to clear. That's why the amount of time, 3 to 4 years to sell the remaining stock, especially for this one, 50% left, around 50% left. That's like 100 plus, less than 200 units. It's not a problem to them lah. For those of them who are thinking, or those of you who are thinking, Botany is gonna have fire sale, we're gonna have big discounts because developers are panicking. I think I can assure you on their behalf that they are not panicking at all. It will be a matter of time before the market will start to accept the pricing and then start buying, because if you look at the upcoming launches, they are rather ridiculous upcoming, especially a few of them that are already mentioned in this article. I'm not going to point out again. If you want to know more, then feel free to check out with me. And as always, in a high supply area, I think this one is clear that there's going to be more supply in the area. So you have to be very careful about your exit plan. You're buying to a high supply area, or rather I would say going to be high supply area. In this instance is not super high. The demand is still quite strong. So for those of you who get in at the right price, then you are still generally still quite safe. But if you get it at the wrong price, then I would say please tell me that you bought dairy farm just because you really, really, really like this area. But those of you who bought investment and you were able to stay logical and brush aside your emotions, then congratulations to you. I think you could have gotten quite a decent deal. Especially those of you who managed to get the 1% discount on the launch day. So in fact I have some buyers and clients telling me that, oh, this given this price, 2 bed 1 bar, 2 bed 2 bar, blah blah blah, who will pay for this kind of price? Because this given this quantum 1.4, 1.5, 1.2 for 2 bed 1 bar, then who will pay next time when I want to exit? That is something that has always been the question for those people who have bought decades ago. Okay, 1 or 2, 10 or 20 years. I wouldn't say like really a lot of decades, maybe 10 to 20 years ago. And then they were thinking, hey, who will go and buy? But the problem is those people who think too much, as long as you don't do a due diligence, you don't all your set of criteria, you don't settle, you don't dare to make a leap of faith, and then we'll see what happened lah. Back in 2014, these guys over here got in 2 bedder. So we just look at 2 bedder lah, because I don't want anything too big lah. If too big, of course the profit margin is going to be bigger. Because I have a lot of people telling me, oh, there's not going to be two bedroom has no demand in the OCR area, or because people buy OCR for old stay and that's why they need blah blah blah, 3 bedroom here and there. Well, as per usual, it's a typical things that I hear. So let's take a look at the data that actually prove what's happening on the ground. Then we'll see. People last time who bought this one OCR back in 2014 at just below 1 mil. At that time, almost 10 years ago, below 1 mil, just below 1 mil for 700 square feet. People are thinking crazy OCR by that kind of location. And then today they were selling at this kind of price, 2,000 PSF. And how much did they make? $400,000. How many of you would have been more than contented with $400,000? I think that I would have been very contented, given I just have one name sink into it, and then I just make quite some money over the years. This is very likely gonna be more than a lot of people's stocks returns, because they claim that they are experts in the market, and these years we hear a lot of people. Basically we hardly hear anything about the stock market this year. So all the stock market gurus have been very, very quiet. Well, I kind of expected it. Like I mentioned before, I've been in the stock market for very, very long, about 10 plus years at least. So I know things are always not that rosy. And I've lost quite some, and I know that I know better to not risk too much, especially when I know that my discipline level is not that high. So I'm not the kind that I can do trading. So those of you who can do day trading, my rest, and I mean do trading is not like you do for fun and then you make some money here and there. It's like you do consistently for the past few years and you'll be making monthly income really, really steadily. This kind are the very, very, very rare breed. And they are what I call the elites, because I simply cannot do it. So I don't have the kind of temperament. I'm too impatient for that. So kudos to you guys are able to do it. But I was believe the large majority, at least a 95 to 98% of us will be able to do it, even though a lot of us will think that it's an easy job. Because almost all those people that I know, they are all losing big money right now, including some of my close friends who are, telling me buy this, buy that, but I didn't because of my experience beforehand more than 10 years ago, which thankfully shaped my thinking when it comes to the stock market. Then 1 year later, 2015, we got this one, another one at a even more ulu area, 700 plus thousand, and then exited at this amount of money. Okay, and then this is definitely, before you mention, do you want minimum? Of course can. Before, I'm not going to show the location. If you want to, you can text me. I'll show you the location. This is a location that most people would not even consider, because like what I mentioned before, there are people who always say that, oh, I want to buy for investment, and then when they start queuing up at the booking day, then they start coming with mixed with the emotion. Hey, maybe I want to stay. Hey, I really don't like this. I really don't like low flow. I really don't like this facing. I really don't like the rubbish now. I really don't like the. Okay, what? So this particular condo, you have those units that were facing the pickup point where you have more noise, right? Because of all the cars coming in here and there. But they were the ones that actually make a truckload of money. So if you are the kind of emotional person, then unfortunately, I would say you are probably not suited for the investment investors' appetite, and maybe because of that, thanks to you, another person is able to adopt that kind of investor mindset and make that money off you lah, because you have shown that you are a emotional creature. Okay, I mean most of us are, but it's just matter of, are you able to tone down your emotions and increase your logical aspect when it comes to property investing. This one makes $300,000+, not as much as just now, but it is still, I would say, a very respectable amount, given that people are always bashing on the two bidders and one bidder, saying that it's investment unit, and that's why it's not going to be very lucrative. And then this one is another one, or OCR 2016. Make $300,000+, also a two bidder. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much about that. Let's just speed up. Oh, there's another one more. This one also an OCR at a low floor, mind you, because there are a lot of people who don't believe in low floor. And let's take a look at what happened. 2017, bought two bidder, exited with a profit of $700,000+. How many of us actually even expect to see this? I wouldn't expect to say that, hey, your two bidder is going to be today, you're invested in the two bidder, you don't expect to see Botany exiting at 700+. Yes, I agree. But you can see at that point, the fact that developer even priced it so low that time, it means that maybe at that point they themselves are not that confident. But just because developers at that point are not that confident doesn't mean that when it comes to resale market, it will not work. And then this is a typical example lah. And kudos to this guy who managed to get in at one of the lowest floors in the development, and then managed to exit at one of the highest points. If I'm not wrong, this is the second or the top 5 highest quantum, despite the size not being close to the biggest. So this shows that size does not always matter. Okay, I'm not going to talk more into that. So the other thing is that we take a look, is it really the size again that really matters? You look at Commonwealth, this area, you have Queenstown MRT, Queens, and then Sterling Residences. They both are side by side. Location, I would say, is pretty much similar. It cannot get any more similar because you're just side by side. You're this guy not happy with this one, you can throw an egg over and hit the other guy. So I think nothing else. And in fact, this one, older one, is almost not sure whether direct access lah, but it's super near the MRT. This one is a little bit further down, a little bit further walk. And if you're asking me the same question again, who will pay this kind of ridiculous pricing? The older one is able to get something just a few months ago, about 4 months ago, or was it 5 months ago, November 9th, that able to get in 1195 square feet at 1.65 million. So you'll be thinking, if I can get a 1.65 million at Queenstown MRT, why would I go and get a two bidder? Because that's what a lot of you think, right? But we take a look at this 1.65. This guy is willing to pay. Apparently, there's another guy just 2 days apart, because that one is 9. Okay, let me just show you again. This is 9 on November, this is 11 on November, 1111, add up these two lah. Okay, this is some lip shit humor. And then the size is almost half. And then it's paying not too far apart, 1.58. So if you are given a choice between a 600+ square feet and a 1195, most of you would have said that, hey, no brainer, I should have went for this one. But it is like what I mentioned before, this is not as simple as it is. It doesn't mean that, nearer to MRT, then it's always the advantage. Size is always the advantage. It's not as simple as that. So please, data has already shown you that you should always look at what is happening on the ground instead of trying to compare with your own bias. Oh, I don't like this, I don't like the, I don't like the rubbish view, I don't like the entrance view, I don't like the road view here and there. As long as the numbers make sense, the developers will jump, the investors, the logical investors, I would say, the logical investors, not the emotional investors. Emotional investors always think that they are investors, but they are not investors. They are the market feeder. They are the one that feed our profits. So if you are an emotional investor, please don't come to me and mention that, I'm going to be a logical investor, because you cannot be. And if you try to mix investment with emotions, that is where you become a very, very dangerous force lah. Okay, I wouldn't say force of nature. Okay, because pardon me, because I've seen quite a lot of this. So a lot of people will be thinking, hey, then what are we waiting for? I don't know, something amazing, something they're praying that Diamond Grand MRT is going to be selling at 2000 PSF because because the Terra Hill is not performing that well. Botany is not performing 70-80%. So, and that's why developers are a little bit pessimistic. I think if you compare to 2019 where there were a lot of launches, right? This is considered very, very optimistic already. So why would they want to tune down the expectations? They know the market is in their favor. The supply is very low. And that's why they have no need to go and keep pushing down their price. And this is why I call the emotional investor, because they want basically everything. They want low price, they want good location, they want this, they want that, everything good and then cheap. So we know. And then by the time they start trying to jump into the market, well, I guess I'm priced out, and then I'll just wait for the next one, and then hoping that it's going to be cheap. The Continuum, Tubusu Grand, Diamond Grand, Reserve Residences. Well, those of you who know, you know lah. Terra Hill, like what I mentioned previously in the previous video, 38%. I personally don't think this is bad performance. I would say a little bit surprising on the good side, because the fact that they can even sell this, wow, I'm really amazed. I'm thankful, like I mentioned. That's why, is there a need for them to hit the panic button and give the fire sales discount? Like some of you, I know you see the previous video on the article that there's some fire sales going on in the Royal Green side. And as of what I'm saying right now, I think if there are only like 3 units remaining at Royal Green, those people who are logical, they would have snapped up already. Remaining, we have to take a look at whether is it suitable or not, lah, depending on the price. But then again, are these new developers, are these new launches developer in a rush to give this and then hit the panic button? I highly doubt so. Because of this, so supply is on a 15-year low, and then which will help to support prices, because developers know that it is in their favor. And then especially if you buy a new launch, and then they're going to be tanking the interest rate for you because of progressive payment, because they haven't reached that stage, and therefore they are not allowed to charge you for that, and then you save on the interest. This is why a lot of investors are jumping in, and they know that all these are to their advantage. There will be a demand for new launches, and that's why they are they can wait because they can afford to wait. Okay. The other thing about Terra Hill is that for those of you who think that, upcoming, some of them on the launch day, they mentioned, or one of my buyers, they mentioned to me, I heard Terra Hill got 2,304 PSF1 for 2 beta. I'm thinking, how is that possible? Very, very unlikely, ma. And then let's see, this one is a penthouse, then with a so-called hill view. Okay, got some airspace, if I remember correctly. This is the 2003 plus, and if you think of factor in airspace, it's not really a true PSF range, and that's why this is a typical example of why I say, if you are not educated enough in the market, you would have been easily duped into buying the wrong kind of unit. And those people who are not very clear also, if you just look at pure PSF alone, you don't compare every other factors, right? You wouldn't have realized that this is actually, you open the window, you're looking at a slope. You're looking at like really block view. And next time if you want to sell, you better sell cheap lah. If not, it's very hard for you to exit lah. Because, well, maybe unless you're getting in really, really cheap. But looking at this price, this is the lowest PSF. I really don't think you're getting in at a very, 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 very cheap price. And then this is the medium price PSF range for Terra Hill on that day. So I wouldn't say this is exactly a very, very cheap deal, but people who are, who are not very clear on what they are doing, they FOMO, they rush in and throw the check in, and then a ballot because they see people want to buy, and then they see the thing, this one sold, that one sold, that one sold, and during the queue, and then they get pressurized, and then their body starts shaking, and then you'll be surprised. I personally seen quite some buyers, their whole body shaking on it. I mean, I understand that it is nervous, but it's quite a sight to see people like shaking hands, shaking body here and there. Well, that's just the thing it is. I mean, I do get nervous, but I wouldn't get to the nervous to the extent that I would really start shaking. Like what I mentioned, it's quite a sight. So at the end of the day, it always boils down to this article, because the gist of it is that there are very, very low supply, and hence this is on the developers' favor. And those of them that are still selling, yes, they may have some deadline to meet, but most of them are not at that type of a deadline. And that is why they still have time. And if you are wondering, those upcoming new launches, will they be anytime soon hitting the button? I really, really don't doubt so, because please go and read up some more about market if you still choose to be delusional, and then you really, really realize that how it actually works in this market. Okay, that will be all we have for today. And then if anything else, please text me, let me know how I can help. For those of my clients who are already invested, I would say congratulations. These guys are helping us to well, push into your easily further into your six-figure gains. And then for those of my existing clients who are watching this, thank you for the support. And then I really congratulate you for your triple gain. And well, we'll catch up with each other again, and then we'll be happy looking at our wallets. Okay, thank you guys, see you, bye bye.